What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you on a Monday. Thanks so much for being here. We are coming at you live on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. We are taking a live look tonight in Victoria Gardens, near the land, near Casadega tonight, and then also at Champions Gate this evening. The middle box was frigid Pittsburgh, right at Acrisure Stadium, where Monday Night Football is currently going on, and we have a lot of cold up there. It is about 10 degrees above with the wind factored in. So certainly a very cold night, and it's going to be another chilly night here across parts of Central Florida. And we are going to be talking about that through the course of this video. I am trying to change my source because it changed up on me. There we go. So now we should be able to get that over here and show that. Stand by. Stand by. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Some technical difficulties on a Monday. There we go. All right. So another chilly night coming our way later on tonight when you wake up tomorrow morning. And then from that point on, we are warming things up going forward. Comment, looks like it's cold and the weather office. I just forgot to take this off from walking inside. Is that bad? It's a little cool. The AC is on in here, I guess, to keep the computers from falling asleep and crashing, I guess. But yeah, a little chilly in here. It's not going to be chilly, though, as we move into Christmas. We're going to look at the long range, which isn't really that long range anymore. I mean, Christmas, obviously, in 10 days, so that's kind of within the foreseeable stuff. But we're really going to start to grade our forecast that we made last Monday. If you were with us last Monday during our long range segment, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, of course, we're here every Monday through Friday at 9:30 right here on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. We talk about the weather across the state of Florida. We talk about the tropics, of course, during hurricane season, and thank God that is over with. But on Mondays, we look beyond the 7-day forecast. So last Monday in our long range segment, we talked about that I thought that we'd have a real good shot at the mid to maybe even upper 70s on Christmas Day. So we're going to take a look at the weather pattern on Christmas and see if that forecast is holding. Coming up after the first break, that's going to be in 3 minutes after we get there. That's going to be about 9:40 if you want to stay there. Hey, New York, tuning in from Lake Nona tonight. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from. Love to hang out with you guys. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. It's crazy these days with the holidays in full swing, Christmas right around the corner. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really humbled that that's your favorite weather channel, so really appreciate it. I want to show you this right off the bat. Check out this craziness. This was this morning. If you hopped in a car or took a plane ride from Key West to Pensacola, this was the difference across the state of Florida. 40 degrees between Key West in Pensacola. That's wild stuff. It was 28 degrees this morning in Pensacola. It was 68 degrees in Key West. So a wild divide in temperatures that was brought to us by the cold front that moved through. And it really started to kind of die out a little bit as it got towards the I-4 corridor. Even from a Central Florida standpoint, from about Gainesville to Orlando, it was about a 20-degree drop. It was 53 degrees in Orlando. It was in the mid-30s in Gainesville. So almost about 23 degrees difference, or 20 degrees, give or take, just about from Orlando to Gainesville. So a wild temperature spread. Daisy Flores, welcome to the show. Conway area, tuning in. Thanks so much for taking some time to hang out with us tonight. Temperature-wise, this is where we stand right now. So there's still that wild divide. It's 70 in Key West. It's 41 in Pensacola, 53 in Orlando, 56 degrees in Tampa, and it is 40 degrees in Tallahassee. So still that spread there. The wind is going to back off a little bit. That's kind of added the insult to injury this morning. So I think it's going to be a little colder tomorrow morning, at least in the Central Florida. And it's going to be a little bit, it's going to feel a little bit better. So it's going to be weird. I think your temperatures are going to be a little colder, but it might feel a little better because the wind is going to back off. I don't want to say considerably. There will still be a breeze when you wake up tomorrow, but it's going to be a little bit better. And the reason why we're still going to have the breeze, this is the culprit here. That chunk of high pressure that's chilling by Atlanta right now, it's going to slide off our coast, off the southeast corner of the United States, South Carolina, Georgia area. So it's going to keep the breeze a little elevated, unlike the last time where we had high pressure pretty much plop in between Orlando and Jacksonville. That really calmed everything down in terms of the wind. It's going to keep the wind elevated a little bit. It's going to help to calm it down a little, but not so much that we're going to get rid of all of the wind with it. So that's going to be the deal. And yeah, Marky D hit the nail on the head here. Weren't expecting any rain with this one, at least from in the central Florida area from the rain. But yeah, we could certainly use it. We'll take what we can get this time of the year, of course. Lawn crunchy, even after we got about an inch or two? What was it, 10 days ago now? So crazy stuff. Golfing Ferdy says still need more rain for sure. So this is what I think we're waking up to tomorrow morning, right at the freezing mark in Tallahassee, Pensacola. We're in the 30s. Key West is the spot to be if you don't like the chill. We're at 70 degrees. Miami, we're at 67. West Palm at 66. I think northwest of I-4 into the Ocala area, we're going to dip into the upper 30s and lower 40s. I think the Orlando area, right into the upper 40s, right around 50 degrees. So we're looking pretty good. It's going to be pretty chilly, but show of hands, post in the comments, do you like the chill or do you like it warmer? Because I do have some good news. Tomorrow is kind of the transition day to warmer days. Now, you'll see here on the map, everywhere you see blue, that blue box, that does represent below normal temperatures. The only spot across the state, at least on this map, from a point forecast, Naples will be at 77. That's right where we should be for this time of the year. But everybody else, albeit warmer than where we were today, is still below normal. I do think that changes in a big way starting Wednesday and then really Thursday into Friday. So here's the deal. This is going to be your future clouds and rain. There's not going to be much rain here. The only spot where I could see a few stray showers, you see that motion there getting into Wednesday, how it's out of the east, off of the Atlantic. That is going to help to push in some Atlantic moisture. So I do think we're going to keep clouds around, especially on the coast. And then the slightest opportunity for a quick hitting shower. These are going to be gobbled up by drier air, though, as they push inland. So whatever, if anything, even develops, it is going to be few and far between. You see that motion continues. We may have a shot, though, on Thursday to get in on a few scattered downpours as another weak cold front approaches the area. I don't think we get the cooler air with that one, though. I think we're going to start to really crank up the thermostat towards the end of this week. The other thing, if you like to boat or if you like to be in the water, even though it is a little chilly, the one thing that if you've been along the beach or been out at sea, it's been choppy out there. So wave heights today are running at about 8 to 10 feet. Those are going to back off a little bit. This is early tomorrow morning. I mean, midnight, so really early tomorrow morning. But you see here as we get into the evening, the seas start to calm down just a little bit. Still kind of rocking if you're maybe taking a cruise from Port Canaveral or Fort Lauderdale down to the Bahamas. Going to be a little rocky until you get towards the Bahamas. But it is going to gradually get better through Wednesday and especially on Thursday as well. This is what I was talking about. So if you don't like the cold, and we see them kind of split here, we have a lot of people say warmer. We do have a couple of coolers in there. We'll show those during the break, who voted cool, who voted warm. But if you like it warm, here you go. We're back to the mid to upper 70s already by Wednesday. And then I think from this point on, we are really starting to flirt with the 80s and maybe even jumping into the lower 80s as we get into Christmas week. Even before then. So we're going to break that part of the forecast down coming up in just a couple of minutes. Alrighty, guys. Hey, I want to thank you so much for being here. I have to hit the first break. On the other side of this break, last Monday, we made a forecast for Christmas in the Orlando area. We talked about mid to upper 70s appeared likely. That was way out. We were reading some of the clues that the atmosphere was giving us, and it looks like it is going to be a warm Christmas, potentially warmer on Christmas than it was on Halloween or Thanksgiving. So crazy turnaround of events, big weather pattern flip. We're going to dissect the long-range forecast. I know 10 days isn't that long range anymore, but we're going to take a look at our forecast that we made last Monday, look at the pattern, see how it's shaping up, and then look a little bit beyond Christmas as well. So I will see you guys in 3 minutes. Do me a favor, keep posting in the comments. A lot of people tuning in tonight. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me and just talk about the weather as we get you ready for the week ahead. And again, just talk about the weather. I think it's cool. I hope you do too. I'll see you in 3 minutes. What's going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you. New 6 weather live at 9:30, rolling on a Monday as we get ready to head into Christmas week. Of course, second night of Hanukkah this evening. It is a quiet night. It's a chilly night tonight. We're going to wake up to, I think, air temperatures a little colder this morning, especially in Central Florida. You might be a couple of notches warmer in the Panhandle, and then pretty much right where we were this morning across South Florida. We just highlighted the Florida forecast in detail, and now we are going to get into the long-range forecast. I want to start, though, by showing you what's going on right now and where the cold is. Of course, it's a chilly night tonight, but you can see where the really big Arctic chill is kind of carved out across the Great Lakes, parts of the upper Midwest, Northeast. It's in the teens in Pittsburgh. Monday Night Football is going on in Pittsburgh right now. If anybody's watching, cold game there tonight. We'll see if hopefully Tua doesn't get a win below 40 degrees. I'm a big Steeler fan, by the way, so I'm obviously rooting for the Steelers. 17 degrees in International Falls. I guess that's kind of warm for them. It is warm for them at this hour. They had the way below zero stuff earlier in the day. They are starting to rebound now, as a lot of the country will going forward. Now, here is the update. We're going to get into some numbers and the actual pattern coming up in just 1 second. But this is going to be from December 21st through December 25th, obviously going into Christmas. What this is, it kind of highlights the confidence in the temperature outlook, where it's darker the red, the higher the confidence that above normal temperatures are expected within that forecast period. In this case, it's December 21st through December 25th. Really, the only spot that are going to have the opportunity for a below normal Christmas period is going to be the northern tier of the country and then extreme New England. That's really it. I think there's going to be some colder air trying to push in, backdoor cold front, maybe from Maine, coming in from the north and east, maybe down the I-95 corridor to about D.C., and that's it. The rest of the country, blowtorch relative to normal, and that includes us here in Central Florida. I'm going to get into some of that, like the longer range stuff, but yeah, it does look like this warmth is going to continue. We talked about, probably it was October, I think. October, when we made our winter forecast. Obviously, we're not really dealing with winter here in Florida, but it's still fun to take a stab at, okay, are we going to see warmer than normal temperatures? Are we going to be wet? Are we going to be dry? What are the trends? So December is playing out very, very similarly to how we thought so far, that we would have the opportunity for a couple of big cold blasts, and a lot of ups and downs rather than one kind of pattern staying dominant. Once we get to January, and I'm kind of jumping over the Christmas stuff, and we're going to get into that in just 1 second, I think we may have one more shot for like a blast of colder air, and then I think it's a runaway. Like the rest of the winter might be really, really warm and dry, which could become problematic as we get into our official wildfire season. So I want to show you some numbers. Last Monday, we said that there was a very good chance, because we go out on a limb here on the long range Monday segment. And if you like long range forecasting, then Monday's going to be your favorite day of the show when we're outside of hurricane season. But we said mid to upper 70s. Okay, I thought that had a really good shot. Let me take it to the other weather computer. I'm going to show you the latest European model here. This is going to be the model forecast now for high temperatures on Christmas Day. It's pretty warm. If you can't see the numbers because they are a little tiny, let me pull out my handy dandy telestrator tool. It's loading. And we are going to do some telestrating here. John Madden style telestrating. There it is popping up on the screen. All of these right here, this is mid 70s. This is upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Mind you, one of the biases of the European is to be a little too cool. So if it's going 78, I mean, we're really going to have a really, really a really good shot to maybe flirt with 80 degrees on Christmas. And then Fort Myers area, you see they're right in there. The model's actually pegging lower 80s. So it continues to look very warm across the state of Florida on Christmas. This is also a relatively dry pattern as well. This that is building. Let me show you the pattern. I'm going to pull this up. And I need to zoom this out because you really can't see much. Let me look at the North American pattern. And here is the deal. This is for Christmas, and this is why it's going to be so warm. So this is going to be the height anomaly. And the higher the heights, typically at the surface, that means warmer temperatures. So this is your big, your trough out west, another big trough here in the Northeast. That's why they're going to be on the colder side. And then I think the Pacific Northwest also has an opportunity. This has largely gone unchanged from the last 2 weeks. I mean, we've been talking about this for a week now. That big chunk of high pressure builds, and then the anomalies go nuts in the nation's midsection. So with this anomaly here, if there's going to be any kind of rain, it should go up and over that dome of high pressure, building at about 15 to 20,000 feet above our head. Doesn't mean rain's impossible. We could have a breeze out of the surface, out of the east, and maybe ring out a couple of showers. But right now, on Christmas, it looks warm. It looks pretty dry across a lot of the state of Florida and the South. If anybody's traveling, post in the comments where you may be traveling to. Unless you're in the mountains or maybe Minnesota or right along the lakes, the Great Lakes, it's going to be really hard to find a white Christmas this year. I do think. And it's a shame because winter started out gangbusters with a lot of cold and a lot of snow. Even from like Indianapolis, Chicago, a lot of Illinois, parts of Missouri, Kansas. I mean, and it's going to be all for naught because of this big time December thaw. Alrighty, guys, have to get to my next break. When we come back, if you have any questions, we are going to hit those up in just 3 minutes. Thanks a ton for being here, guys. Alrighty, guys, we have about 3 minutes left. Marky D says, guess who will be using the fire pit on Christmas Eve? Yeah, we could be hanging into the upper 70s again, right around 80 degrees. I mean, it might feel nice and cool if it's to cool down quickly, but I mean, might wake up in the low 60s, upper 50s. So it's going to be on the warmer side. Yeah, did anybody see the Geminids this weekend? They're still going on, but the peak was this weekend. Melissa said she saw 8 of those. The next meteor shower should be early January, although they don't have the staying power as the Geminids. They'll be harder to see than the Geminids across the board, but that's the best one we have annually, are the Geminids. So I hope you got the opportunity to do that. And there were some clouds around across the state of Florida, especially across South Florida. But there were some breaks through the Central Florida area. So I hope everybody got a chance to do that if you wanted to go out and see that. I brought up the long range here. This is going to be the height pattern for January, because Marky D was talking about warm through January, and this is it. Now, this averages the entire month out, so there will still be the opportunity for some cold shots. So this doesn't mean like we're completely out of the woods with any kind of cold. If you do have a fireplace, or if you like to have the fire pit outside when it gets into the 50s and 40s and stuff like that, doesn't mean we're completely done. It just shows us that. Look at my John Madden illustration everywhere from the last one. We have that in like high pressure builds down here toward Cuba, the Yucatan, and the height anomalies are big. So that should keep, I mean, that pattern right there screams warm and dry, and that pattern screams La Nina. Typically, again, for the good winters, if you like the snow and cold, it's up here because you can kind of see this is where the jet stream hangs out. Just like what we saw last week with that kind of nasty clipper that came through, they develop out here in Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and then kind of race across the northern tier of the country, and they continue to bring in the rounds of cold and the rounds of snow. That is your typical La Nina pattern, where we do have this ridge trying to build in the southeast, keeping things nice and warm, and then the colder the normal temperatures across the Great Lakes, parts of the Northeast, and then the upper Midwest, northern plains. So that typical La Nina pattern is being modeled by some of the long-range climate models here to continue into January, and then something we can keep tabs on if you keep on coming back. I hope you do. February is even worse in terms of that, the anomaly growing across parts of the Deep South. So again, not what you want to see in terms of getting a rainfall in here. Again, it only takes one cold front to kind of change that a little bit, but more often than not, again, it's showing that we are going to be on the warmer side and on the drier side, and that is what you would expect in a La Nina winter. Hey, Andy, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty, guys, I have to go get ready for the 10. If you are watching on News 6 Plus, you know what I say every night. Keep it parked right there. We're going to have your latest local headlines. We're going to talk more about the Central Florida forecast for you when it comes to the chill tomorrow, and then the warm-up coming towards the latter stages of this week. And on the traditional cable side, we're going to be right back here at 11 o'clock. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, we also have the stream on for News 6 at 10 and 11. It's going to be a different thumbnail, but you found the right channel. Thank you guys a ton for being here. If this was your first time tuning in, let me know. There was a lot of great conversation. That's why I love the show, because I could spend more than 2.5 to 3 minutes to just BS about the weather and get into the nitty-gritty and into the science, into the meteorology, which is what I really, really love. And I hope you guys do too. Thanks a ton for being here tonight and spending some time of your busy, busy schedule. I know this time of the year, it's really crazy. So I appreciate hanging out with me tonight. Keep me company as we talk about the weather across the country, and especially right here in the great state of Florida. I'll catch you guys tomorrow night, 9:30, or better yet, in a couple of minutes, News 6 at 10. Have a great night, guys. Be safe.